Hello all, welcome to today's video. Today we are going to look at the basic data types in Python and we are going to do a hands-on on it. So we are going to the console, we are going to initialize variables, we are going to take input for the variables, we are going to get an output, we are going to look at the different data types, the basic ones for say string, boolean, int, float, and we are going to also see how we are going to typecast them, and also we are going to perform some arithmetic operations. So without any further ado, let us get into the video. So let us look at the programming console now. We have the variables over here. And before we go and check what the variables are and how we are going to initialize those variables, let us understand a few things about how we can beautify our documents. That is the Python notebook documents. So if you see here, we use the single hash to, do whatever is given in a bold and make it in the font for title. So if you go ahead and run it, you will see that it forms of the type title. So basic data types of Python, when put with a hash and a space, it becomes the title of the document. So as the number of hashes increases, you will see that it was of a smaller size compared to the title. It is like a heading here with 2 hashes. It's like a subheading here with 3 hashes. We have 4 hashes, that is the smallest kind of heading font, and then we have the 5 hashes which makes the heading italic. So these are a few ways in which you can beautify the document. So if you see here, there is also something called the BR. What is this BR? BR is typically used to break a sentence. So without the BR, any sentence that you write will be in the same line. For example, if you see, even though we have hit enter and we have come to the next line, so this makes it italic. So we have a new sentence that we have done after we hit an enter. And then what we are going to do is we say another new sentence. So this is also another new sentence. So this should all come in the next lines because we have hit enter. But usually when you execute it, it all comes in saying same line unless otherwise there is this BR that is given. This breaks the line when you're typing anything in a markdown, a line of code. For example, let us go ahead and execute this. Go and hit shift enter. So if you see, we have the variables. This is the heading. You have a this is the one with the subheading, and this is the smallest size of heading, and this makes it italic. You see that we have a new sentence, another new sentence is all coming in the same line. Unless by otherwise we use the BR, we will not be able to break the sentence in a markdown line of code. So if you see, we have this break here that allows it to go to the next line. So we can also change the colors of the font. So here we have colored it green. So this makes it green. So we say font color is equals to green, and then we close this font. So anything that is given between this open and close is what will be what will is what in which the color will be applied to, or any specific font type that we want to give to it. It will be whatever is there between these two opens and closes will have that font. So we are going ahead and running this again. So when you see, it makes it green and then it makes it blue. So now we see what variables are. Python variables are containers that can store any type of value of any particular size. So as we have already seen, unlike Java and C, variables in Python do not need initialization. So let us run this markdown line of code. See, it does not really affect our code in a way, it just helps for documentation. Now we come to the first line of code where we have the variable name, and the variable is initialized with Vandana. Anything that is given between the quotes is a string, and now this string has been uh, given to this variable that is there. So we go ahead and run it. So we have given the variable name with the value Vandana. You're going ahead and printing the name. So we see that we have the name here, that is the Vandana. And now we are initializing age. We're running it. And then when we are trying to print the age, we run it and then it is printing as 21. So now age is initialized with 21. So this is how you give variables with values. And then when you try to print whatever the variable is, it gives the value. So when you want to understand what is the type of this variable, so because we have initialized it with a string, the type of this variable is a string. In a vast and a very big code, sometimes it is easy to forget what the data type is for a particular variable. In those cases, you can just say type name and then it will give you the variable data type. So we go ahead and run this and it says str, which means name is of the type string. And then this next one, what is the type of age? It is int. So now what we are going to do is we are going to initialize different variables with different values, which are all of different data types. For example, we have integer underscore num is equals to 1. This is of int data type. And then we have floating underscore num with initialized with 1.3 value, which is a floating data type. We have the string. So as you can see, string data type is str. So string is a variable. It is not a type, it is a variable, and this is of the value. And then we have here the boolean string or boolean variable, which is initialized with the value true. True is of the type boolean. And then we have comp initialized with a complex number. So what we're going to do is we're going ahead and executing this. So and then now we are going to print what all these different variables are and what are all the different variables types. So if you run it, you will see that integer underscore num is of the type int, floating underscore num is of the type float, and then string is of the type str, which is a string, and then boolean is of the type bool, which is boolean type, and then comp is of the data type complex. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are going to take an input of for the variable name. So you're going ahead and running this. When you run it, it will ask you for an input. You will get Sanjana. So you have entered the name. Now what you're going to do is you're going to hit an enter. And now you're going to print the name. So you're going to print the name. Now the name is Sanjana. If you had seen earlier, the name was Vandana. Now the variable name is now initialized with Sanjana. So going forward, the variable name is going to have values Sanjana in it. Since this is an interpreted language, now that we have changed the value for the variable name, so whatever it is changed to, that will be the value for that particular variable going forward. So now we can see what is its type. So as we already know, it is of the type string. Now we are going to try and take an input for age. Say hit shift enter and then you give the value 14. So the age is, now you hit enter. So now the age is 14. We are going ahead and printing the age. You go shift enter, you have 14. If you see here, it is of the type string because it is in between the quotes. We have already seen that whenever you take an input, it always takes it in the format of a string. Now what are we going to do? We are going to check what is this data type. And then it is string. Now you and I, we both know that 14, taking it as a string makes no sense. It should be an integer value. So for that, what we are going to do is we are going to typecast it. Typecast it is in the sense you're going to take an input age, and then what you're going to do is you're going to typecast it into int and you're going to assign it to age. So let us go ahead and execute this. When you hit Shift enter, it is going to ask you for an age. You say 14 and then you hit enter. Now it is not coming under the single quotes, which means that it is now typecasted into the font, into the data type int. Now you're going to do shift enter. You see the type is now int because we have typecasted the string variable into an integer variable and now it is an integer variable. Let us go below and then see how we can typecast any value into some other data type. For example, we have num is equals to 12. We all know that it is of the type integer. Now what are we going to do is we are going to typecast it into boolean variable, into a boolean, into a floating and into a string, and we are going to print it. We're going to shift enter. So if you see here, when you put it in, when you typecast it into bool, it will take the any value inside it as a true or a false value. Since 12 is some value that is there, it will take it as a true value. And when you put it as floating point, it becomes 12.0. And when you put it as a string, it becomes 12. So this will typecast it in the format of a string. Arithmetic operations. Python supports the same arithmetic operations that we usually do in mathematics. We have the addition, we have the subtraction, we have the multiplication, we have the division, we have one new thing called the floor division, and then we have modular division, and then we also have exponentiation. So what is addition? Addition is simple. We know what is addition. You add a plus b, that becomes an addition. What about subtraction? You do a minus b, that becomes subtraction. For multiplication, that is a into b, we use this particular star which denotes multiplication. So it becomes a star b. This is used for multiplication. For division, a divided by b, we go with a by b. For integer division, what we get as an answer is the quotient, which is the nearest smallest integer value. For example, if you have a quotient that we get from a division of two numbers as 3.33, it takes the nearest integer value, that is 3. The answer for the integer division will be 3. And then what is modulo? Modulo is whatever remainder that is you have when you do a division, which is denoted by the percentage symbol. And what is exponentiation? Anything that goes as an exponent. For example, when you say a star star b, it means that it is a to the power b. So if you say 2 star star 3, it means 2 to the power 3. So you will get an answer for the 2 to the power 3. Now that we have seen all this in theoretical, let us go and do a hands-on on it. So now we see the arithmetic operations. For arithmetic operation, let us try and first initialize two variables a and b with values, and then we go ahead and perform the arithmetic operation. So we have the 5 plus 3, for which we do an addition, so we get a value 8, and then we have the 5 minus 3, that is a minus b, we get a value of 2. We do the multiplication by doing a star b, and then we have the value 5 into 3, which is 15. We perform division, so we do a 5 divided by 3, which is equals to 1.66. We do a modulus or a remainder division where we do a percentage of b, where we get the remainder of 2, and then we do the exponential where we do a star star b, which means 5 to the power 2, which gives us a 125. Now let us run this code. So we have the addition value 8, and then we have the subtraction 2, and then we have the multiplication value 15. We have the division value 1.666, and then we have the modulus or the remainder, which is 2. We have the exponential value of 5 to the power 2, which is 125. Now what we are going to do is we are going to look at the floor division. So floor floor division is when we do a particular division and it gives us a floating point value, and the answer will only take the nearest integer value. For example, let us try to divide 11 by 3. The output will be 3.66. So let us also try using a negative value, that is minus 11 by 3. We get a value of output is minus 3.66. One thing that we need to understand over here is that the floor division returns the largest integer less than or equal to the result. So it gives us the largest integer that is less than or equal to the result. So if we do a floor division for 11 by 3, then the largest integer that is less than 3.66 is 3. So we get the value 3. Whereas when we do it for minus 11 divided by 3, then the nearest whole number for this particular quotient, that is minus 3.66, is going to be minus 4. As we know that when we go for the nearest integer, for the nearest and the largest integer, which is less than 3.66, it is not going to be minus 3, but it is going to be minus 4. So the floor division for minus 11 by 3 is going to be minus 4. So now let us go ahead and run this code. So you will see the answer over here. When we divide 11 by 3, we get 3.66. When we divide minus 11 by 3, we get minus 3.666. The floor division for 11 by 3 is going to be 3, and the floor division for minus 11 by 3 is going to be 4. Now let us try to understand the concept of having multiple operations performed in a single sentence. We all know that mathematical operations, they use the rule BODMAS or PEDMAS, PEDMAS, where P stands for parenthesis, E stands for exponents, M stands for multiplication, D stands for division, A for addition, and finally S is for subtraction. Okay, now let us try to calculate this particular expression that we have here using our calculator. So what do we do first? Let us try and open the calculator over here. Okay, so we have 4 by 5, which is there in parenthesis. What we are going to do, 4 into 5. So we have say 4 into 5. So we get the value 20. And then what do we have here is, we have it by minus 9 plus 6 by 7. So this is the rest of the expression. So what we do next is we go by the rule. First we went with the brackets. Now we are going to do with the multiplication. Multiplication is not available. Multiplication is already done within the braces. So next we go for the division. When we go for the division, we do a 6 by 7. So we have 6 divided by 7, which is 0.8571. We already have 0.8571. The one thing that is still left now is that we have multiplied it, we have minus 9, and then we have plus 0.8571. So what happens here is, since we have subtraction and addition side by side going one after the other, and since they both come under the same scale, as addition and subtraction are to be done at the same time, what we will do is we will go from left to right, meaning first we take the 20 that we got from 4 into 5, we minus it with 9, and then we add it with the 0.85 that we received from the division of 6 by 7. So what we have is, we have 11.85. Now let us go ahead and execute this in the code that we have here. When we run, we get 11.85. And since our Python program is extremely precise, we get all the other decimal values after 85 also. So this is one thing that Python also has that is similar to that we do in mathematics. It follows the PEDMAS rule. Now, let us go with the next one. So what we are trying to do right now is we are going to take in an integer value in an age and a value for the variable age. So we say we go with the input age, and what we are trying to do is we are trying to multiply this age value into a 12. So we say your age, and whatever age you give, it is multiplied into 12 to show how many months old we are. Okay, let us go ahead and run this. So first it is asking us to enter an age. So let us say we are entering an age 5. So, and then we hit enter. Oh, what is this? We have 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. Oh, how many times do we have the 5 here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, 5 got printed 12 times. So this is what happens. As we already know, when we enter a value, whatever value that we enter, it takes it in the form of a string. What did the system understand? The system understood 5 as a string, and it went ahead and printed the 5 12 times. But that is not what we want. And we know how to find the solution for this as well. We know that all we have to do is do a typecasting. We are going to take a value and do a typecast of int of age. So it is going to convert the value that we enter in it in an integer format, and then now we are going to multiply it with 12, age star 12. Now let us go ahead and run this code. Run. So we are going to enter the value of 5. Now we're going to go with hit enter, and now it says how many months old we are. It multiplied the 5 with the 12, and now we have 60. So why did it print the 5 as 5 12 times in the previous sentence? We will have to go into and look at all the functionalities that we can perform with strings in the upcoming videos. That's all for today's video. If you like that video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you have any comments or if you have any doubts, put it in the comment section, share it with your friends, and do not forget to subscribe to our channel, The Data Pulse. Thank you. Bye.